Are you recording?
I'm recording now. Now, what
Okay.
is it that
All
you
that
just...
to say, I don't judge people who do coke, crack, whatever. What you do is your business. However, I prefer not to date people who does anything other than weed. Period. That's just my preference. Okay. Okay. But to each his own. Be careful with whatever it is that you're doing. Okay.
Well, the people want to know what you talk about. You said that somebody you know had been posting about their ex and said that the ex was doing coke. We just don't know if they was smoking the coke or snorting it. We don't know if it was the
Yeah.
boy or the
It's,
girl.
it's,
We don't know if it was a hard crab or a soft crab. We
it
don't know
was
if it
two
had...
trans people going back and forth online, which I hate. Like, anyway, yeah, and one was calling the other one out and saying, like, like, this is the effects of you doing coke. Like, that's why you need to put it down. You need to stop. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it was a trans man and a trans woman. Yeah, trans man and trans woman, and they were, yeah, and it was yeah, it was
And you still don't know if they was freebasing or if they was doing bumps.
ma'am, I don't know the difference between all of that because again, I don't do those kinds of things, and I have not ever done anything beyond various forms of marijuana. Okay.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
I can give you a quick little drug 101 lesson. When people do coke, they might not pay their cable bill. When people smoke crack, they probably don't have nowhere to live. They're probably selling the television.
So coke, like I said, okay, got it.
Oh, it's hard to
This
tell.
is somebody who, for
It's hard to
for the
tell with
most
these
part,
faggots and trannies and bulldaggers because they get so much plastic surgery and shit. You can't tell if they smoking crack because their face don't be sunken.
he is typically somebody that stays housed, that gets a job and looks good, like from what the eye can see and all that. So yeah, coke and not crack. Just not that anybody on crack cannot look good and still be homeless and But anyway, yes,
Child,
yes.
honey, look at all the ballroom girls that smoke crack and walk face.
I'm not going here with you.
Child, they be
Even though I'm ballroom adjacent because I used to be a housewife in Kiki scene.
they be giving Carter, honey, like coke. Huh.
Brie, please not today. Please, oi no, not today. Mm-mm.
Child, their
No.
nose really be so high in the air because they be trying to catch that drain.
Have you ever tried coke or crack, Brie?
I know you fucking lying. Mm-mm. Now, I done had a couple of e-pills laced with coke, so I know about that drain. That's how I know
You
about.
didn't had whoa. Hold on. Let me turn my device up. You didn't had say what now?
I've had e-pills laced with coke.
E pills laced with coke. Did you take the whole e pill or did you take a half of it? You know people say you're supposed to take a half of it for.
Half, whole, quarter, couple. Depends on the night.
So,
But that was my old life. That was when I was a party girl.
and how long ago was that?
That was at least 10 years ago. That's back when everybody was doing e-pills. Back when back when
Who
they
is every
the girls that's doing coke now was doing e-pills
who
back
is
then.
everybody? Because I
Everybody
ain't ever.
everybody who's doing coke and perks and shit now was doing e-pills back then.
You know,
Um, but this was before the Molly. This was when Molly was just starting to come out, and people were starting to take pure Molly because we had the e pills first, but them e pills they could be cut with any motherfucking thing. Might be cut with a chicken foot, bitch.
I have my brain. I have so many questions now.
Go ahead.
Are you ever going to write about your life?
I already started.
Okay, I didn't know if I was supposed to like lead with that I know. I got to pretend for the people. Listen, I ain't trying to breach no contract. Okay, as manager, I can't be breaching stuff. So I have to ask you and let have your answer. Okay.
Yeah, cause I collect my motherfucking coin. You breach that contract, and your ass be still hired, honey.
Nah, you tell me I'm collecting coins. I'm out of here. Absolutely not.
The shade, honey. You see how niggas don't want to hold up to their contract shit.
Yup, to the next 30 days, and then that's it. Cause now I got to pay you and manage you. So now I got to pay you while I'm working for what? Oh no, absolutely not. No. Mm-mm.
If you breach a contract, that's like stealing from your boss. And if you steal from your boss, you gotta pay restitution. Now you
Oh
can pay
my goodness.
restitution and still have a job, or you could pay restitution and be unemployed.
I'm not, we're not anyway. So are you going to write about this or have you written about this in your book or books, whichever?
I'm definitely going to write about the drugs. My party phase was so severe that she needs her own book.
Okay.
She needs her own book.
Okay.
I started partying at 13
Same.
and didn't really stop or didn't really calm down until like 30.
Yeah. Oh, you went longer than me. I started at 13. First time I went to the Breakfast Club, I was 13 going on 14 with my little I had just started high school, ninth grade, my little high school ID, and I was like, they not gonna let me up in here. And they sure did. They was like, oh, you got an ID? And I'm like, yeah, and I showed it to them, and they like, all right, go ahead. And I was like, oh. I'm like, oh. Yep. And then but I stopped partying. I was house father for what, 2 years. And I stopped when I was 20, maybe 22, 23. I moved away from Philly. I was like, all right, I'm out of here. I went to Harrisburg. It was quiet. I went to go start, like my journey, like the medical part of my journey. And I was like, all right, yeah, I'm out of here. I need to go somewhere new, somewhere quiet where people don't know me because Philly was wild. So,
Oh, you was
I hear that.
you was out there fooling people. You was out there
No.
fooling people like them trannies. You wanted to fool people like them trannies be doing.
First of all, what? It ain't ever been no fooling anything. I was myself. If anything, them people was fooling me because they were so. When I got to Harrisburg, I was doing security, and mind you, I was doing security, and I did every shift, first, second, third shift. Like I went through the shifts because I didn't know how fast like my changes would happen, and so I was like, all right, well, let me see if I can. Oh, so me and my therapist, my doctor, we put together a letter like educating people on, what trans men and all the things like that, and that one of their coworkers will be going through a transition, but it didn't say who it was. I'm sure everybody assumed it was me anyway, because I've always been very masculine, very butchy, and so
Oh, you walked in there waving your rainbow flag.
I did not have no flag. You just assume what you assume that like that's your business. You assume what you assume. That I can't control that. You judge a book by its cover. That's your business. But you let me confirm or affirm or whatever what it is that
Was
you're
you doing
thinking about me.
congolingus? Was you doing congolingus on people?
That what?
Was you doing congolingus on people during that time when you was working security?
I don't know how to answer that.
You know congolingus is when you eating carpet.
I I got that. I was like, I don't know if I should answer that. You always trying to hit me with these questions. Yes and no. So no at first when I got there because I wasn't dating anybody. Like I literally was focused on building my money, saving my money, getting my own apartment, everything. Because I was staying with my other grandmother while I was working, those first few checks. And then I moved into this room. I was renting a room in this building. And I was like, nah,
You
I
was
gotta get an
doing
apartment. Like this.
congolingus on people while you was living with your grandmother?
Oh no, no, no. That's
Oh,
why I just
shit,
said.
Ray. Dang. Oh,
I mean, no. No, this was like when I got my room. Or was it while I was still living with her? No, because I was only with her for like a month or two, and then once I saved up all my checks, then I moved right out because I don't really I love people. I'm a people person, even though I'm also very shy and introverted. I'm an omnivert, so I like people and all that, but then I need to be by myself. It depends. But no, I lived with her for I want to say a month, 1 or 2 months, and then I got the room, and I started also doing housekeeping at the hotel at the same time of doing security, and I met the girl that I was doing that.
Hey, hey, I ain't judging. Honey, I was sucking dick and getting fucked in my ass when I lived with my grandmother, honey. I was sucking dick and getting fucked in the ass one time in the house at the
And her,
same time. No, my mother at my mother's house. My mother was home. She was so
you just trifling. No.
she was so disappointed when she seen me come out of that room. I think she had heard me heeing and hawing, all that. I think she had heard a little bit
What were
of it.
you? What were
And
you doing?
hee haw, and I think she was I think she was real disappointed. She had this feeling on her face like, my child is getting fucked in the ass, honey. But had she known how big the dick was, she would have been like, oh no, my child has experience with hemorrhoids. You know what I mean?
No, I don't know.
I mean
I mean,
the
I
dick
know
was
what you
giving
mean, but no,
thumb.
I don't.
It was giving thumb when he was hard. It gave thumbs up.
You know what? I can't even say anything because at my parents, the house that we were at before my parents bought their house that they have now, in the basement, I had an actual room, a bedroom in the basement. And anytime I was dating somebody, sleeping with them, whatever it was, everybody, you know how you do in school, everybody be tagging the walls in the bathroom and all that. Literally, people used to tag my wall. Such and such was here. Such and such was here. This is. It was wild. Like, and I wish that back then I took a picture of that base of that wall before we moved out, because I was 16 when we moved. It was right before I went on my senior prom, and we moved out. And I'm like, yo, it's so many memories in this basement. Like, one of the first people that I slept with. This is gonna sound bad. I don't care who judge me. I really don't. I was a teenager and I was acting out, but one of the first few people that I slept with, she was pregnant. Like, I mean, belly out. And she's older than me. Not that much older than me. She's like 2, 3 years older than me. But I was 16, I think. I was 15, 16.
Oh, so she was
It was
committing
like,
rape. Pregnant. Somebody's mother raped you.
it was consensual because we met, and
You was
then
a
she knew
child.
how
You
old I
couldn't consent
was.
with no adult, especially not no adult that is carrying children and shit.
I think she had just turned, maybe she just turned 18 or was about to be 18. If I was 16, yeah,
Oh,
she was
she was one
17
of
or
them
18.
fast ass girls. She was a whore. She was a whore. Oh, and didn't even want to use condoms. A nasty trumpet.
I mean, I'm a retired hoe. I used to be a hoe back then. Anyway, that's a
I'm
whole
still
nother.
a
You
hoe.
got me telling these people my business.
I'm still a
Anyway,
hoe
going back to
today.
Harrisburg. Going back to Harrisburg, those people were being what did you say? They were pretending because they used to love me. I was the youngest officer there. Everybody was so sweet, so kind, and oh, you know so much, you know how to do so much for a young person, blah blah blah. And as soon as all the changes came in, the letter about somebody transitioning, and then they start seeing my changes, and now they have to call me by different pronouns and all the things. When I tell you, it was like, let's say it was 50 officers in total. Everybody loved me. I was a training officer, everything. By the time, let's say after a month of everything that then happened, all the changes, look at the Puss. Um,
You see her trying to put her ass in my face, don't she?
after like a month of everything that had came out, came to the light, as people say, it maybe was like 3 to 5 people that still spoke to me. It was a lot of the cis men, like they started. So mind you, for that whole month I stopped using gendered facility. So like I wasn't using the locker rooms, I wasn't using the restrooms. If I used the restroom, it was a single use restroom that was down in the basement in the garage, or I would go to the bathroom and like change my clothes, everything before I got to work.
I would have
And
fucked
when
it up. I would have fucked it up for all the trannies after me. Cause honey, as soon as I seen the knot, honey, as soon as I seen a knot on that motherfucking chest, honey, I would have been twerking in the girls' locker room.
as soon as you seen a what?
A knot.
A
Soon,
knot in your
soon as I
breath.
seen a knot, a mosquito bite, honey, a
Oh
pustule, bitch. It could have been a mole on my chest, honey. If it was big enough, I would have put it on a padded bra, honey, a little trainer,
what?
baby.
Not with your mosquito bite, putting on no trainer.
Child, honey,
No, sir.
my little bee stings would have been twerking in the ladies' locker room. I'm telling
Alright, so anyway, after that month, I slowly started like, all right, now I'm gonna use the locker room. Now the men's locker room. Now I'm gonna use, now I'm gonna use. And mind you, I had only been here for like 6 months. I was like, I can't go a whole year. Like, I can't wait another 6 months to be called the wrong thing, to be using the wrong. For like, I'm just not doing it. So I had only been at the job for like 6 months, and I was like, all right, fuck this. Like I'm telling these people, like I'm tired already. Like I don't want to, And so yeah, so a month went by, and I slowly started, using the men's locker room, and I was still kind of going back and forth with using the restroom that was down in the garage, which I said is a single use. But I was like, no, fuck this. Like, ain't nobody gonna make me feel like I don't belong here. Like I'm not who I say I am. Like one thing about me, I'm a fighter. I don't know if it's because I'm a Leo, because of who my parents are, or it's just I'm a fighter. And you're not gonna mistreat me. And so
you
I
ain't
was like,
never
man,
got your
fuck this.
ass whipped. You ain't never got your ass whipped.
Oh yeah, but not as much as my siblings did,
I'm
because I
talking
don't.
about
I
out
don't.
in the street. I ain't talking about your parents. I'm talking about getting dragged out in the street by the people. Yeah, that's a
Technically,
yes.
technically,
That's a
technically,
yes.
that's what I'm about to tell you. Technically, yes, one time because I got jumped. Period. Exactly. Yeah, but has a motherfucker one on one been like, yo, what's up, and hit. So the thing about me is too, like, you gotta swing first. I don't know what it is, but it's like you can say do this all day long. Okay, go ahead, keep it up. But you got to swing first, and you better not miss. Like that's just how you better not motherfucking miss. You better knock me out with that first
What?
swing,
I be
because if you don't, I'm going to use everything within me and get you this close to death to where you can't even move. And I'm like, you done? Okay, then I'm gonna call 911 to come get you. That's how nice I am about it. Yeah, because it's no reason why anybody ever wants to cause me harm. I am such a nice person. I'm not better than anybody. I'm not perfect. I make my own mistakes. I always clarify that. I do stupid stuff too. However, I'm a very kind, loving person. Like I damn near do for anybody that comes, within my reach. If you need something from me, if I can, you got it. So why would you ever want to cause me harm? Like I said, I've done stupid stuff. I've cheated once before when I was younger. I done stupid stuff.
I'm
But for
just
people to always want to either pull out a gun on me or jump me, or like it's always people that come. It's always two or more. One time it was 15 people. Why do it need to be 15 of y'all if it's just me?
they pulling out the ratchets on you. Why? Cause you
I mean,
got a
I've been held
beard.
at gunpoint, what, two, three times in my life? I know for sure two, but it might have been three, and I'm just forgetting the other one, trauma. But yeah, I know for sure twice I've had guns pulled out. One time was by a cis woman who was mad because my friend was beating her sister's ass, and she called herself trying to jump, and I grabbed it and flung her off. Like, you have to jump my friend. And she pulled the gun out on me, and I told her, mind you, I was like, I want to say I was like 17, 18. I might have been, yeah, I think I was like 7. A lot had happened in my teens. And I'm like, you pulled the gun out, you better pull the trigger. She ain't pulled that trigger. I'm still here like 20 years later. But anyway, and then this young bull, I was in Chester, Pennsylvania. Don't go to Chester. It's trash. Anybody that's from there, sorry, no shade, but shade. Um, Chester, Pennsylvania, this young boy pulled the gun out on me. He only wanted my cell phone. Like, really? So you don't want no money? You ain't want my cars? You that low in life that you gonna pull out a gun on somebody for a motherfucking cell phone, though?
He had a grinder conversation he needed to finish. Armani, they is pulling out guns and shit on you.
On
Why?
me.
Why?
And one more thing. And the one time when you asked me if I ever got my ass whooped, it was by two people who, to this day, I actually still call my cousins. We grew up across the street from each other. If they watch this, they're gonna know, or if they listen to this, they're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about them. I love y'all dearly. I'm still mad y'all jumped me, cause mind you,
Man, it
I'm
wasn't as
just now
bad.
being.
It wasn't as bad as what Kanye was doing with his cousin.
Hell no. The look, it was two sisters. One was taller than they're tall. Like their mom is tall, and I believe I never saw their dad, but I believe their dad is tall. I was always short. Like I was always 5'2" or shorter most of my life. I just grew to 5'5" like in the beginning of my journey. Anyway, I was getting the younger sister. Like, cause bitch, don't hit me. I don't put your hands on me. I'll get the younger sister and the older sister. So he was fucking yeah. But I was still fighting back. Like, what? No, you ain't gonna jump me and think I'm gonna stop swinging. No, and y'all better not mess up my face, cause then we gonna have another round.
Baby's motherfucking kids, honey.
But that's the only time in my life that somebody can kind of say, or to answer your question, have I ever gotten my ass whooped outside of like at home when I got in trouble? Yes, I still was fighting back though, but yes.
I
Bree,
got
I don't
my.
know what it is. People they always want to jump me or pull a gun out on me. Like
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know what it
I don't know what it is neither, honey. People always say that they can whip my ass, and I know what it is, honey. It's height and puss. You know I'm cunt. Honey, people
I
people
and puss.
people mistake femininity for a weakness all the time, honey. They've done it all my life. I
Ooh,
remember I remember that there were times where actually I don't know because I think my mouth and my personality has scared people off.
yep.
But you know, it I guess it would depend on the person. Like for example, growing up, it would be dudes that I would read them they rights. Like I learned how to read in school. Like that was my fight. And the reason I'm so good at shamming on people, jonesing on people is because, you know, I had this mouth was my first defense, right?
That's your superpower. I told you.
Right. So I would be reading the dirty trade and shit, you know, the dingy t-shirt trade and shit, honey. The trade still pissing in the bed and shit. You know, I know all the tea because my mom is cool with everybody. You know what I mean? So I always been a pull no punches kind of bitch. You call me a faggot? Pissy. I know you ain't talking, honey. Did you wash them nuts before we came to school today? Smelling like a urinal, bitch. Honey. Not you still sleeping on plastic sheets. You know what I mean? Type shit. So there would be times that I would read dudes and people would be like, why don't you fight him? Why don't you fight him? Why don't you fight? You know, I was him back then. Why don't you fight him? Why don't you fight him? Why don't you fight him? And it would be dudes it was this one dude in particular who used to always make the excuse, and people used to always try to get him to fight me. He would always make the excuse, I ain't going to get no cool points for beating up no faggy. I ain't going to get no cool points for beating up no faggy. And one time I had heard him
You
say it,
good, but anyway.
and one time I had heard him say it, and I was like, no, you're not going to beat me up. And that's the real tea, honey. You know that you're going to get negative cool points for getting your ass dragged by a faggy. That's what you knew or whatever.
Ah,
But no, I have had people try me. You know, I think that the motherfuckers done been nuts personally. But I have had motherfuckers try me. I did get my ass whipped one time, going back to my party girl days. Started off partying at 13, honey. I was drunk as three skunks, honey. I was all of the shades of the winds, honey. Can you paint with all the colors, bitch? I was the brush, honey. Call me Bob Ross, baby.
call you what?
You know Bob Ross, the curly hair cracker that be painting the pictures on PBS. Well, used to paint the
Why did
pictures.
you call?
Used to paint the pictures on PBS, honey, because you know PBS don't exist no more. Your president had got rid of it. But anyway, honey, it was one of my homegirls. Shout out to Tracy Cash, honey, you hard brick bitch. But it was one of my homegirls, and she was dating him at the time. As a boy, she was cute. As a boy, she was over. But she was one of them girls, honey. The masculine features didn't mm-mm. They didn't work well as a woman. You know what I mean, honey? I told you that the bitch is a brick, concrete, hard as this table, honey.
I'm
But
not.
anyway, she was dating him at the time as a boy, and I always knew that he felt some type of way about our friendship because everybody used to always think that we was fucking. And you know, back then I hadn't accepted being a lesbian, so it's like I'm not fucking this faggot. You know what I mean? Like y'all done
You
lost y'all
accepted
damn.
being a what?
I hadn't accepted being a lesbian at that point. You know, I hadn't
Oh,
accepted.
you hadn't. Okay.
I hadn't accepted being attracted to femininity, and at that time, you know, all I seen was a faggot, and it was like, that's my sister. Like, I'm not fucking her. Like, bitch, that's your job, honey. You know what I mean? But he used to feel some type of way. So, looking back, I think that Tracy, hard jawline ass, was the one who had got him to fight me. Looking back, but anyway, child,
Ooh.
he had jumped me when I was drunk as three motherfucking skunks, honey, Pappy Le Pew. He had hopped out, and it was cute for me at first, Armani, from what I remember. I mean, at least I think it was cute for me at first. You know, I remember him coming out. I remember me walking in a zigzag, and I remember him coming up behind me and was like, you know, what you say, bitch, what you say? And I was thinking to myself, like, not you stalking me to have a conversation. I turned around and I was like, bitch, you want to fight? Put your hands up, girl. I ain't got, we ain't doing all this dialogue, bitch. Like, this ain't no fucking 70s porno, bitch. I ain't got no script to read to you, bitch, honey.
Oh
But
my God.
I remember,
Bree,
I remember,
wait a minute. Wait. I want you to finish this story, but I'm still thrown off at the part. You so easily slid that shit in there. I was walking in a zigzag. What the fuck does that mean?
you know how when you be so fucked up that you look down at the ground and you realize that you're not walking straight, but you can't stop it. You know, like all you horrible ass people that didn't drunk drive. Then when you got that sobriety test and you knew that your ass was getting locked the fuck up, that's what I'm talking about. Walking in the zigzag. So,
I just
honey,
needed some clarification for the people. Thank you.
so this bitch, I remember I was windmilling, honey, at first, and everybody was like, "Oh, you know what I mean, huh?" Next thing I remember, Armani, honey, I was on the ground, honey. Next memory after that was Timberland. And they had the nerve to be a dirty, rusty Timberland boot, bitch. It wasn't
Oh, that's what
it
my
wasn't
bitch
no
would know.
these wasn't no fresh pair of butters, honey. This nigga only pair of school shoes. He had been wearing these motherfucking Tims
Every
through
day.
summer, spring, winter, and fall, bitch. Honey. Mary J.
Ah,
Blige, 7 days a week. Honey.
and you are so serious. I don't know. I can't.
Armani. I had the motherfucking Timberland print on my forehead for about a week. I don't think it's funny. I'm still traumatized.
Sorry, my bad. So do you not wear Timberlands?
They my favorite boots. You know I got Tims. You know I got Tims, honey. Motherfucker kicked me with a steel toe Timberland boot, bitch, honey.
Oh,
The
oof.
construction worker Tim, honey.
I cannot be laughing this hard. This shit hurts so bad.
So I understand about get. I say all that just to say I understand getting your ass whipped, and I wasn't gonna let you hang on here on the limb by yourself. But what
It's
do
fine
you?
because it ain't gonna happen again.
Oh no, no, no! Never say never. You know we make a
I
plan.
didn't say never. I didn't. I know better than this. I said it ain't gonna happen again. Is what I said.
You know we make.
Mhm.
You know our plan ain't always God's plan, but no, it's not. It's not. We are manifesting that Armani will not get his ass whipped again in life.
Period.
We
Thank
are
you.
also manifesting that Bre will not get her ass whipped again in life.
She will not. Period. Thank you. Hmm.
Yes, and we are manifesting that we can afford security, so we really don't even have to worry about it.
Come on, security. Yes, because
Yes.
we dealing with a whole celeb on the other side of here. Okay, so yeah, we need security.
Speaking of speaking of somebody who got security and need their ass whipped, what do you think about Kanye West? His most recent rants. Now you know he done held Hitler, honey, and he threw Harriet underneath the Underground Railroad, honey, and you know he threw them crackers, them Kardashians under the bus. But this time he done talked about deep throating his cousin till he was about 14, I think. And he also talks about how he's not a big fan of tranny puss, which means that he has admitted that he's had tranny pussy. What do you think, Armani? How do you feel about Kanye West, or do you not even want to talk about him?
Let me get in my court mode. Your Honor, I would like to say that the people think that this man, although a creative genius, is deeply, deeply, deeply sick and needs some help. I don't know what kind of help, maybe all the kinds of help. And someone needs to get it immediately before it truly affects the kids, if not genetically, it hasn't already, hopefully not. Um, and we don't have anything else to say about that. We wish him the best, all the best in all the ways, and the people rest. Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
My only real tea is that you know Kanye is quick to talk about a conspiracy theory, honey. My only tea is I'm thinking he's the motherfucking conspiracy. Cause I think it's awful funny that he goes on these manic breaks when he is promoting something or trying to sell something. I think it's awful coincidental that you wasn't tweeting about the tranny puss when you had the tranny puss. You tweeting about it when we ignoring you talking about Jewish people. You know, need to go back to the chamber.
So you think he had? You think he? You think he's been in relations with a trans woman specifically, or just a trans person in general?
But he said that you know he's had the SRS, you know, puss. He's had the vaginoplastics, you know. He's had the peritoneia. You know, no, he couldn't have had the peritoneia because you know the peritoneia is supposed to go all the way up to your pelvic bone, huh? You're supposed to be able to take porn star dick with the peritoneia, honey. But yeah, he said that he was talking about how big his this was after he was talking about sucking his cousin's dick. Then he started talking about his own dick, and then he was saying that his dick was too big for vaginoplasty puss. He said it didn't work out with vaginoplasty puss. He said, and
Oh my
I
God.
I really, you know, it's
Ooh.
been rumored in the community that Kanye has been in the community for years. And also, you know, when your fave is a woman that look like a femme queen, then you probably like femme queen. You know what I mean? If you marry somebody who looks like a femme queen, intentionally went out of their way to get pumped everywhere, you know, was one of the first bitches that got pumped. Hi, she'd
Talk
have been,
about fetish, right?
honey. All I know is that I'm attracted to androgyny,
Mm,
and it shows with whoever I date. whether you see it or whether I see it, whether you see it or not. Because if you don't see androgyny in my partner, that just means you ain't seen us fucking.
On top of that, I can definitely say, though I don't know this man, from the public partners that I've seen him with, they all give femme queen. You know, like they all give doll. They all give,
Clout.
you know,
It is not.
and that's not anything bad to, femme queens, to trans women, to, to trans femmes. That's not anything bad to them, because essentially, in our community, like one thing I love about trans people, let me say this, is that people who choose to make any changes to their body or their appearance, um, I think it is a great thing, because you don't let people stop you from doing whatever it is to love what you see in the mirror, right? Excuse me. So I feel like that may not been have been the reasons why his partners, previous partners, and maybe current partner have done whatever they done to their bodies, they still gave that. They still very much gave that. And so it would make a lot of sense if he has been with a trans woman or trans women, trans films, or what have you. It would make a lot of sense. And there shouldn't be any shame in that, especially if they are trans women. They're still women. It shouldn't be any shame in that. But now don't go bashing motherfuckers now that you done been all up and through. Like what?
I mean, is it bashing, or if it or is it honesty? Because honey, we know that a lot of them girls only got a 3 inch deep puss. You know what I mean? We know a lot of those girls only got a slit. It's only for aesthetic purposes. I know girls, the average girl that I know that got a puss don't even get fucked in there. I know girls that strap on, that then went and got a puss and straps on, honey. I know girls that shit then closed the fuck up, honey, like somebody threw Elmer's glue in it, bitch. Um, but coincidentally, off topic, real quick. I know you see, I just sent you Tiana Taylor in this 2 piece jean outfit with these Timberlands.
Let me look on my watch.
With these Timberlands, honey. You
Oh,
see how the
Lord.
world come full circle, huh? You see, I was talking about a queer kicking me in Timberland boots, and then I turn on my phone and it's a queer in Timberland boots.
First of all, I don't want to be doing all this stuff on my phone. People all up in my business. We had to cut this out.
What happened? What happened? What you mean,
We had to cut this out.
people
Cause
can't
if
see
your
your
phone
phone?
ever pop up, no.
People can't see your phone.
Oh, I like this. I like this. Is cute. I'm fine. I will wear this.
You like her?
I would actually wear this myself. But you know what? That also reminds me of when we first start really getting familiar with her when she was a teenager too. And she used to wear like the tutu with the jeans and the Tims or the J's and like a blazer. Like I thought that was a really cute look for her. I mean, of course, that's when everybody was like,
Well, she is.
I think that most people are at least curious and or I don't know. I'm gonna say trisexual. That's what I'm gonna go with. With curious slash trisexual. Not necessarily pan, not necessarily bi, because that's kind of confirming that you didn't try it and now you like, okay, yes. So I'm gonna say that I think that most people, if not all, excuse me, get to a point of curiosity and or where they are trisexual and they're trying things to see like, oh, okay, yeah, I actually don't like that. Ooh, I actually do like,
Well,
you
how,
psychologist.
well, how many times you got to try? I think this is a good question. This is a question for the audience too. Leave your answer in the comments if you're watching, so that we can really discuss this and get to the bottom of this. Because this question has come up before amongst the fabulous. How many times do you have to try it before you get your certification? Because Tiana has admitted to trying it at least twice, honey. What?
Well, where I been?
She done sang about it. Where yes, where have you been? I don't know, honey.
In my own little Armani Day world.
This was years ago when she was still with Iman Shumpert. Honey, they was doing threesomes. She was, doing congolingus.
Oh, okay, I know about that, but I mean, you gotta think about it. In a lot of, not a lot, essentially, in a lot of cis hetero relationships. Anyway, in a lot of relationships, people have threesomes, and it's not always because both partners want to do it. It's usually because it's often because one of the partners want to do it, and the other partner is like, well, I don't want them to leave. I don't want them to cheat. So let me explore with like. So am I wrong? Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong.
I don't know. I was going to ask you, do you think that most couples have done threesomes? Or have you just dated whores?
I first of all, maybe I have, but I think a lot of couples. Again, let me clarify. Um, the non okay, let me say this over. I think that a lot of non cisgender heterosexual couples have have tried like threesomes and
You
group
think most
sex and all the
straight
things.
you think most straight couples have had threesomes and stuff?
Wait, I'm not done. But I think less, although probably still a good number, I think less. And obviously, I ain't do no research, but just from me talking to people and dating people who were not queer or whatever, I think that less, although still a high number of cisgender heterosexual couples have tried threesomes and group sex and things like that because one of the partners wanted to try it and the other partner was like, well, I don't want them to leave, I don't want them to cheat, or I want to please my partner even though I don't really want to do this, I'm gonna do it for them, you know but again, this is from talking to people and and also my own assumptions too. I'm usually right with things like that too.
I don't know, because you do have a perspective that I don't know, and you do have more female friends than I have, so I could see that dynamic being true when when dealing with straight people, and from the perspective of a woman in a straight relationship, especially. I see as an outsider that bitches will break their neck for a nigga, but I don't know. I never really thought about it. I never really conceptualized it in that way. From my experience, from my side of things, I would get the impression that more LGBTQ people, more queer couples, have experimented with non-monogamy than straight people.
Yeah, that's essentially what I just said. I said less. So, but I said for cisgender heterosexual people,
For straight people,
less,
for the straights.
less. Yeah,
Yeah.
straight people.
Oh, for the straights less. Oh, I thought you were saying that straight people had done it more often. I thought.
No, though probably still a high number, just
Oh.
less than queer people.
Oh yeah. Cause we
That
talk.
makes sense.
Yeah, cause we
Yeah,
talk.
though I still feel like the number is high because again, like I know. So okay, so I know a lot of I'm always gonna make both clarifications. I know plenty of cisgender straight women who have either experimented with another woman and or they wanted to add another man in the equation, but typically a lot of cisgender straight men don't want another man in the bedroom, but they'd be okay with another. So just going based off of those things and me being so observant and listening to the stories that people tell me, I'm like, oh, you know. But then me being a queer person, like I know in a lot of my relationships, like I've always offered or asked to can we have threesome? I want to have threesome. I'm a people a lover of people. And majority of the time it was granted. Whether we did it or not, it was just like, okay, yeah, let's do it. But it didn't always happen. It was just like, I want to be very transparent, very transparent and honest with my partner. Mind you, I have a like a poly or open heart. Like, I'm just, I can love many people, and but I've only ever been in monogamous relationships. I know people who know
Y'all
me or who
trans men
think that
kill me. Y'all trans
I'm
men
just
kill me.
saying.
Y'all
But
want
Brie, I've
all of y'all.
only been
Oh,
in monogamous relationships.
I'm
Only.
polyamorous. Oh, it's about loving the people. I have a love for people. And it's the people.
So
And y'all even got the cisgender men saying this shit when instead just say, look, this T is hitting, I'm a hoe. I'm a motherfucking hoe. I want a hoe. I want to be a slut. Honey, I want there to be multiple hoes. I don't mind a couple of pose. Let's do groups. Let's go to the bath. Honey, I want you to bust this thing open. I want to bust you open. Yes, it's leaking down my leg. Yes, sometimes I'm going to the bathroom and I'm just wiping and no, I'm not peeing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why y'all just can't keep it 100 and be like, all the things that I hate about men, I am experiencing this now. Like, y'all trans men have given cisgender men the script and the dialogue to try and justify being hoes and make it sound like it's a wonderful love freedom thing. And it's like, nigga, we learned in the 60s and the 70s with the hippies that was all bullshit. You just want to bust nut. And if
this
everybody
means
want to
I
bust,
don't agree with shit you saying, okay?
you just want to bust a nut, honey. You just want to
Okay.
fuck multiple people.
Okay,
Because
now.
if it's about loving the people, you have philanthropy, you got charity, you got all these things you could be spending your life doing. But you want to
And do
fuck.
I not do those things? Do
But
I
you
not do I
and you want to
however,
do and you want to. Oh, I'm sorry.
there's a different way of loving people, of giving people love, of giving people pleasure, of giving people aiding in people's happiness and all that. I gotta say it right. Of aiding in people's happiness. Watch your face cover. There, there. I'm not. For me, I disagree with what you said. But do I see that for a lot of other people? Yes, I do. Because if I had to compare like my life and my story, my experiences with other people, then no. Every Even though I was younger and truthfully as an adult, I I don't even I don't even claim my exes as my exes because a lot of that stuff was just me growing up and experimenting all. But if somebody ever asked me like how many people I've been in relationships with, like I can tell you, I have the answers to all that stuff. Um, but yeah, I've only ever been in monogamous relationships, and when I tell you like us with the slight side of me not being happy with myself while figuring out my identity, I've been happy with these people until I wasn't, for whatever reason, whether they broke up with me, I broke up with them, whatever. I was cool. I can be with one person. However, I'm learning that the older that I get, I'm like, well, maybe I want to try something different, something I never tried before. That doesn't mean that I still cannot be. I was just engaged to someone three. I'm gonna say 3 years ago. I was just engaged to one person 3 years ago, who I was fine with. Now, that person had their own issues. That's a whole nother story. But I
But
was
we
fine.
never said that hoes can't fall in love. We never said that y'all can't fall in love.
Even when I wasn't in love, I still was monogamous. I still was monogamous. It could be many things, but also like I'm a germaphobe. I'm not jealous, but I'm a Leo. I'm a cat, so I'm territorial too. But I'm not jealous. Like I'm not. If I ever get to a point of, oh, let me see your phone, we done. Because at this point, I have reasons to not trust you. I don't even need to go through your phone. If I feel like I have to go through your phone, it's already over. Because otherwise, we can be in a relationship. You could be on the phone all night. I don't care. Like, go out with your friends, do what you're gonna do. I'm gonna tell you what I'm doing, and I'm also the type of person that when I'm in a relationship, when we're home, it's no password on my phone. Like I turn it off. I only put my password on my phone when I'm
I
outside,
said
for
you
like
can't be a trustworthy hoe neither. See, that's what I'm saying. Y'all can't admit.
what?
Y'all can't admit. Just admit to being hoes. That's all I'm saying.
I
Hoes
literally said I'm a
being a hoe
retired
don't.
hoe. I literally said that.
Well, see, that's where I'm throwing in the fact that I don't think the retirement started. You know what I mean? If you try and have threesomes and you try and be poly and all these things, because I just had this conversation with Jovan, and he talking all this stuff about love and love for the people and love and all of these things, and child, the longest relationship he had ever been in was a monogamous relationship.
So why you keep trying to comfort us, Bree? We ain't all the
Cause you
same.
just admit that you like the hoe, and even though you could fall in love with somebody, you still want to fuck other people, even though you can be in love with somebody.
Yeah, sometimes that can happen. But like I said, I was also happy with being with. If we got trust, we got good sex, we got good communication. Like, what do
Baby,
I
if you
need
want
to go?
Baby, if you want me to be monogamous, it got to be great. It got to be incredible sex. It got to be, honey, no matter what hole you put it in, I'm ready to nut, honey. No matter how you sit on it, I'm ready to nut. No matter what position we in, honey, it got to give all the things, honey. It got to give cartwheels and ropes and chains, merry-go-round.
Well, yes. And so I've been in situations like that. Like I said, I don't typically count my older relationships from when I was younger because I was not mentally stable. I was also not financially stable either. So, those things factored in. However, was I cheating? Was I talking to other people? Was I doing no? You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't because I was happy with the people that I was dating. Like
Was this
they
before
were
T?
yes, and even the two after. Damn, I've only been in damn. Yeah, even the two after. Yes, in these 11 years, it's been 11 years. So even in these 11 years, I've been in one relationship, but I was dating somebody when I got to Harrisburg. And you asked me the whole kind of language about we actually, we ended up moving in faster. It was more like a U-Haul thing, but it was because if I'm dating you and I care for you, um, and you are trying to maintain custody of your child, if I can do again what I said earlier, if I can help, I'ma do it. And so all you needed was to show the court that you had a place to stay, a stable home, and your child had his own bedroom. All right, we ain't together, and I clarify that we ain't together. And when they come do the home inspection, we gonna put him in my room with all his toys and things because it's two bedrooms. We gonna put him in my room with all his toys and things. They gonna see he got his own bedroom.
So y'all was
You
living
got
together, but y'all wasn't together.
the neighborhood knew we were together because they saw us. You know what I'm saying? Like they saw us together. They
Together.
knew obviously.
So y'all was living together, but y'all wasn't in a relationship.
Yeah, we was roommates that was sleeping together, but we did not have the boyfriend girlfriend title.
So
And it's
what?
funny, I was actually just talking to her. She just checked up on me. Anyway,
So what
yeah.
I hear you saying is the more you become a man, the less likely you've been to settle down.
No, because the last relationship, I said yes to being engaged, not to marriage, because I started putting all the pieces together that she was manipulating me. So now,
The one
had
I
she
know
not been
about.
doing,
You talking about the one I know about?
yeah, the psycho, um, had she not been manipulating me and all these other things, I would have been also saying yes to marriage. Like I was about to put this girl on my lease. She had a key to where I lived. Like she had
With
clothes
the
there. Like
with the other stuff that was going on, you was willing to still marry her as long as her head was on right.
No, that's why I said yes to getting engaged because she proposed to me. But when I started putting all the pieces together, like, okay, this is a manipulation tactic. This girl think I'm gonna say yes to marriage. She gonna get my last name and take all the stuff that I done worked hard for. No, no, no. But
Okay,
it took me a minute.
I don't think you understand what I'm saying, so I got to break it down. I was trying to be, polite and
No,
submit.
the answer is still no because there were so many things that was while I was how they put it while I was helping her I was breaking me. Why are we two adults and I'm teaching you about your hygiene, about your mental health? I'm your father, your boyfriend, your best friend, your fiance, your therapist. Like,
That's what I was going to ask about. I was going to ask, was you down to marry the funky butt? That's what I was going to ask.
no, no. Man, the sex was really good.
It's that stanky. The stanky bitches always be having a want. The stanky motherfuckers always be having a want. The stanky ones always be having a want. I think it'd be dumpster juice or something
You,
that be making it real good, honey. I know this stank box, honey, that's married now. I know it's
who?
I know a stank box that's married now, honey, and before the motherfucker was married, he kept a piece. Honey, and I remember the last time I had smelt it because they were my first. He was my first vagina. And so I thought that all vaginas smelled like that, and I thought that that's just what you had to deal with if you had sex with a vagina. I didn't know it was vaginarial bacteriosis. You know what I mean? Bacteria vaginosis. I didn't know it was that. And I remember I had got some different pussy. And I was like, oh,
Hold
shit.
on. Is this what they call these parts? Because you know, ain't nobody
The
gonna be like,
person,
she can't call it.
shut up. I know what I'm doing. So I had got some different balls. You know what I mean? I had got up in something different. And I was like, oh, for real? I was thinking to myself, like, this motherfucker must use Norforms or something. Like, this motherfucker must douche with bleach. It smell good around here. You know what I mean? Honey, I had smelt Funk Box one time. After that, we had one interaction after that, honey, and he squirted all over the place. Bitch, when I tell you I had threw away the whole mattress, the sheets, honey, I wanted to throw away my dick, motherfucker. Do you hear me, honey? I soaked in a bath, honey. I had a bath bomb in that bitch, honey. Epsom salt and everything, honey. I was trying to get that smell off my dick, off my thighs, out my nuts, honey. I waxed my ass and everything because that shit had drip.
You do know this that I'm over here dying, and you just still keep
That's why I
talking.
shut up. No, that's why I shut up.
Oh, my lungs hurt.
Can't even tell you a story without you acting a fool.
You know, a part of my injuries, disability, whatever you want to call it, I cannot be long winded and I
Armani,
can't laugh too hard because it messes with my lungs. Like, why? And my lungs, it hurts my back, my lower back. I don't know why you think I'll be lying when I say this shit. Oh,
I just don't know why you want to talk about disabilities in front of these people. Now I remember, I had a seizure this past week. Honey, when I when I tell you I was stretched out like cryptocurrency, honey, when I tell you I had seen the light, the Holy Spirit,
fucking
and every
lying.
Armani, honey, I had woke I had woke up, I was like this. I was doing Lamar's breathing. Honey,
No.
Danny was looking over me, honey, like a deer in headlights. You okay, love? Breathe. You okay? Breathe. Trying to keep a straight face, honey. He was scared, honey. He was about 10 shades of transparent. I could see it. He was so transparent. His skin had got so white, honey. I could see his veins and shit, honey.
I can't breathe.
Baby, when I tell you, honey, my bowels was getting loose and everything. It's not funny, Armani.
It's not fucking funny, but this shit is hilarious.
It's not funny. My bowels had got loose. I was embarrassed because this was the first time I had a seizure in front of him where my bowels had got loose, honey. So you know I was
Where
farting.
you what?
Bowels had got loose, honey. And so I was farting I was farting and everything, and
Breathe.
I was so scared that I was going to go to the light one time and come back, and them drawers was going to be shitty as a motherfucker. I was so scared.
Breathe.
I was so scared, Armani. Guess what I did? In between convulsions, honey, I had somehow made it to the damn bathroom floor. Honey, because I said, at least if I shit on myself, he ain't going to see it. I could go ahead and dump these drawers in the toilet. You know how you dump the drawers? Yeah. Why you so dumb?
What is happening?
Because you wanted to talk about disabilities, and I'm a kiki about a disability, and the people get mad when I talk about Shamar and them and shit, and it's like, yeah, the people get mad when I talk about, and it's like, child, what's better, intellectual disability or physical disability? Like I'm seeing Jesus every other day, honey. You know what I mean? Like, if I could kiki about my own disability, bitch, and I be stretched out, coughing, ready, you think I'm not going kiki about somebody else's?
I'm only talking about myself. By the way, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine now. That's why it's a kiki. It might not be a it might not be a kiki when it's Paul Bear's carrying me, honey.
We
But
ain't ready for that. We it's gonna be as tragic as when MJ went. Half the world was in shambles. We not doing that no time soon. Not right
no
now.
shade, no shade. My services is going to be a kiki. I've already started planning it, putting it in my will and all that. I'm already insured. It's already paid for and everything. And
Come on.
I'm gonna give you an idea of what my services might be given. I'm in charge of my grandmother's services. She let me be in charge of hers too. I'm not sure what she's.
Really?
Yeah, exactly. That's what the whole family said. Um,
Not like not like that.
but I'm gonna give you an idea of like what I was talking about with her for her service, like doing some animatronics with her body so that she pop up, or so that maybe she's sitting up and she wave at the people. And of course, it can't be creepy. You know what I
I
mean?
can mute my phone
And
because I'm not.
it can't be creepy. So gotta put some shades on her. I was thinking of her transition lenses, and just have the lights real bright on her so that you're so stupid. I can't even finish the damn story looking at you. Her transition lenses is real rosy, so it works. It don't look like she's outside. It don't look like she's trying to be a rapper or something. Like she's trying to make a fashion statement. It just be like, oh hey, that's Sheila. You know what I mean? Think taxidermy, but with a little animatronic.
Why the hell would you want to do that?
That's a bad idea.
I'm hanging up. It's time. It's time to be over. It's done. It's finito.
She understood the vision.
No, she did not.
Well, then why am I in charge of the service?
Because she probably ain't got the headache. She probably ain't got the capacity for the damn headache to go changing shit all over again.
Child, I didn't already
Oh.
design my dress.
You immediately lost me at animatronics, and that was the beginning of the story.
I mean, to be
No.
completely honest with you, I don't want to take full credit. It was originally my mother's idea because she was the one who was saying about popping up.
I the fuck? What is wrong? What's your problem? What is it?
Mental health.
Oh my god. My lungs hurt. I'm not doing this with y'all. Not today. Mm-mm. No,
I
don't
could
want it.
I could list it because I was thinking about listing various problems that the people in my family have, but it all falls under mental health.
Mm. I'm not doing this with y'all.
You
Nope.
know, some of
I'm
my
not
family
doing
members was the people that used to get locked in the asylum back before it was illegal to do that.
it. Who?
Some of the first
Who?
some of the first people. Well, they told me that I can't specify people no more online.
No, I'm asking you to repeat what you said. You say your family.
Yeah, my family members are some of those people that used to be locked in asylums before it was illegal.
Um, were they supposed to be there? Did they need to be there? Is a better question.
During that time, based on mental health standards and based on science and what people knew, they thought they were supposed to be there. They fit the criteria, if that's what you're asking. Di-
Okay.
the diagnoses were diagnosing.
Okay. All right.
Mm.
Well then,
On my
I mean, I
father,
guess essentially you can't argue with that, but
on my father's side specifically, and you know he's the one who won't talk to me,
right.
and because he don't want to meet no partner. He don't want to see me in a faggot relationship. Even if it's with somebody with a vagina, he don't care. He don't want to see anybody who's trans attract. He don't want to meet anybody who's trans attractive.
Jesus. I never, I don't understand how, regardless of what people's reasoning is, how the hell you can make a child and then you can't just love that child as whatever the hell they are.
Mental health, mental health, coke, um, white Jesus.
It just it always and this is coming from someone who my biological father is from Jamaica, and we all know, the terrible history of, how a lot of Jamaicans, they're just very homophobic, transphobic. But I said a lot of, now I'm gonna say it again for the people in the back who act like they can't hear. A lot of Jamaicans.
The only
You ain't hear
Jamaicans I know, the only Jamaicans I know who ain't homophobic is the ones who are Americanized, or the ones who are the homo damn sexuals themselves, honey, the faggot, the bulldaggers, and the tranny Jamaicans.
oh my God. The point is, this man has these children. And I want to give him this much credit and say that he was trying to treat all his kids equally. Pay for things that you need for school, winter jacket, boots, things like that, whatever, college, whatever. But then when your child tells you that they are queer, wherever they fall in the line of queer, you you disown them as if they never existed. How the
Sure.
hell do you do that? How do you bring a child into this world and tell them to have an imagination, tell them that they can be anything that they want, to love themselves, to do what feels good, to all these things. And then when they are honest and truthful with you of who they are, you disown them and you tell them that they are not your child.
Honey, those are trash ass people.
Okay.
Those are trash
I
ass
still
people
grew up with a
who
father though,
will
but I'm just
who
saying his
will do these
biological father.
things under the guise of, like I said before, mental health, cocaine, white Jesus. These are just trash
And you
ass
the
people.
same one that got different baby mamas, because I got a couple sisters who all got different
You the
mamas.
same one that can't
Some
take a
some in Jamaica, some in America.
you a,
But you gonna judge me and tell me I ain't your child. Oh,
you the same one that can't take a piss without feeling like it's razor blades coming out your dick.
the same one who some woman he was sleeping with put a bomb on his car. Okay.
The
Oh,
same
okay, but you wanna judge
the
me.
same ones who drag and beat bitches through the house, honey, and all that old shit. Same ones who touch kids, honey. The same ones who be on grinder and married and straight, or so they tell themselves, honey. The same one who
The
can suck a
same one that's
same
sick
one same
and,
one
and
can
elderly now and ain't got nobody to take care of them. Oh, okay.
the same one that can suck a dick better than they wife, honey. Cause they done had so much cause they done had so much practice on chicks with dicks. You know what I mean? Honey, on them she-males. Honey.
Oh, I love
Cause that's how
her.
my father is. My father probably suck a dick better than me. He probably like dick more than I do. Cause you know none of his wives lasted. I think that this wife is a lesbian now. I think that they use a double into dildo. Or she might just strap up on him. I remember one of his ex-wives was reading about being a faggot so much he divorced her. He was like, nope, that's it. He moved like 5 states over.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, wow. I'm the why guy. I'm the one that always asks why. I've always been that way since a kid, and it always annoyed the hell out of people, and I really don't give a
Well,
damn.
why?
But
I mean,
why was she reading so much?
cause he ain't want to fuck her. He had a wife.
Okay.
He had a wife with a pussy, but he ain't want that. I told you. I think he's getting strapped. You think I'm always telling a motherfucking joke, honey? And I
I
be just
don't.
telling.
That's the
And I be
crazy
just
part.
telling you the truth, honey. Now,
I know social media think you be joking, you just be being funny, but you be dead ass fucking serious.
no, but let's wrap it up. Let's wrap it on out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Y'all been privy to this conversation, and it got to the point where I'm getting ready to cancel myself. So we're gonna go ahead and end it.
Cause
Peace,
I ain't getting canceled.
peace, love, and blessings, honey.